Hey guys, it's a Monday morning. It is February 12th, and I'm on here to do a vinyasa flow. So I hope if you're on here, you can join me. It's going to be guided. I'm going to tell you what moves to do. So just pull out your yoga mat, a towel, and get comfy. I know Monday mornings are intense. Monday mornings, I know always for me, are pretty crazy. Normally, my kids are half put together in the morning and running out the door, just like this morning. My youngest always has an excuse why he doesn't have enough time to take out the dogs before he goes to the bus. So we're going to start out here in a child's pose, grounded with your forehead touching the earth. And when you're in this pose, just breathe in and breathe out and give all of your intention to yourself. Don't worry about all the noise that's going on outside. If you can try to focus on your breath, you can forget all of the chatter that's going on outside. Focus on breathing in through your nose. And when you exhale, make a waves crashing noise on the back side of your throat, so that when you inhale, you exhale out. And you can feel and hear your breathing. And we're going to inhale in, hold it at the top, and exhale out. And we're going to do it 2 more times. Inhale in, hold it at the top, exhale out of your mouth. Inhale in, hold it at the top, hold, exhale out. And then keep staying in child's pose. We're going to inhale in and then exhale out our nose. And then we're going to do it 2 more times out our nose, making the noise on the back of our throat or our nose. Now you can continue doing this technique. This technique helps you to focus your breath more focus your intentions more on your breath and not on the outside noise, and to get yourself grounded for this yoga session. So now, when you're ready, go to all hands and knees, the hands and knees pose, and we're going to do some cat and cow moves. So we're going to dip our back under with our neck and then tilt your head up toward the sky. And this is loosening and getting some blood flowing in your lower back. So while you're doing this pose and you're going through the motions, just think of, how does your body feel today? When you came to the mat, what is your body telling you? Do you feel tight? Do you feel tension? Are you feeling, a certain way? Is there pain in a certain area? So now we're going to begin by putting our left leg out, our right leg in the front, and then just holding it here for a moment, just to warm up our inner core. So while we're standing here or in this position, we're just going to think about strengthening our inner core and keeping our back left leg lifted. I know you might not be able to see mine, but when you focus on keeping it lifted, it's also toning your back side. And then we're going to reach back and grab that left leg with your right hand. And then we're, again, still holding this pose. If this is challenging for you, just keep holding it instead of grabbing the back left foot, because this is also building up inner core strength. So we're going to be holding this for another moment, and then we're going to come out, and then we're going to extend our right arm to the side with our left leg out to the side. And we're going to just hold it here for a moment. We're really warming up our core this morning and waking up our body, because sometimes when we listen to our body instead of our inside mind thoughts, we forget, what we were kind of stressed out about or worried about this morning. Like, I forgot that I was worried about the chaos that happened this morning. So then we're going to lift our left arm out in front and our right leg behind. And we're going to hold it here for a moment like we did on the last side. And like I said, just set your intentions on focusing on keeping that right back leg lifted. And focus on your breathing again. Now I'm going to reach behind and I'm going to grab my right leg and hold this pose. Again, you can do a modified pose, or you can go back to the other pose. And just hold it here for a moment. Focus on your breathing. And then come out and extend the leg and the arm out to the side. And if you are shaking, that's a good thing. That's building strength. And then back to the cat and cow pose. And just a brief break in child's pose. Now, that was an intense warm-up to get our abs warmed up, our lower back, and maybe do some few cat and cows. We're going to thread the needle. We're going to lift our right arm high to the sky, tuck it under your left, and put your right cheek down to the ground. And just feel the twist in your lower back. And then I'm going to lift it back up and place it back down and do the same on the other side. So I'm going to lift my left arm to the sky, gaze follows, tuck it under my right, and threading the needle through. And then I'm going to lift it back and place it back down. And then I'm going to stretch my right leg out behind me, and then switch to my left. And this is strengthening the loosening up the back of my legs. And then I'm going to go to a downward dog. And this is your first time in downward dog today. So you're going to want to walk it out or go side to side, like basically see how it feels in your body. If your body is craving, walking it out or leaning from side to side, do it, because your body will tell you what it needs. Now we're going to begin by jumping or stepping forward, going into a low lunge, shifting side to side. And in this low lunge, we're going to put our left hand down and lift our right arm to the sky and just feel this stretch in the left side of your body and your back side. Feels really good. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then I'm going to come to a forward fold and then a half lift. And then I'm going to stand tall and I'm going to step back so you guys can see me. And I'm going to reach my hands overhead, gaze follows, side bend to the right, and then stand on my tippy toes, side bend to the left. And then I'm going to clasp my hands behind my back, do a little back bend, forward fold, and then I'm going to walk my hands out or just go to a push-up pose wherever you are and do a vinyasa. And then we're going to do a few more of these. You can do it at your own pace if you feel like you want to go faster or slower. But the idea is to warm up your body and your spine for what is going to come next. So I'm going to walk my hands back to my feet, half lift, forward fold, stand tall, side bend to the right, stand tall, side bend to the left, clasp your hands behind your back, reach back, forward fold, and then walk it out. Now, if you wanted to do those side twists from this pose, you can do it as well. It's a great stretch for your lower back. Now, again, you're going to bend the opposite leg of the arm that's reached, and then you're going to walk out and do a vinyasa. We're going to do this one more time through. Now, while you're doing this, just remember to listen to your body and know that yoga is so intentional. Yoga is mind and breath combined as one. So when you're focused on your breath, where is your mind guiding you to? And when you're focused on this breath, what is your mind telling you? Is your mind telling you that your body needs this, that your body needs a certain pose? Because it's not necessarily the poses that I tell you that your body needs, but it's guided to whatever your breath is telling you your body needs. So back to downward dog. I'm going to walk it out. And then I'm going to walk to the center of my mat and do half lift, forward fold. And then I'm going to do a chair pose. So in chair pose, I'm sitting behind, like there's an imaginary chair behind me. My gaze follows straight ahead, and I'm going to hold it here because this is going to strengthen my inner thighs and my waist. And I'm just going to hold it. Just let everything bubble up to the surface while you're here, your thoughts, the chaos, everything that's going on in life. Because in life, there's no breaks. You just got to take it as it comes toward you. So you can't take a break and just say, I just want to step out of life. You have to just take it as it comes. And that's what yoga teaches you to do. Yoga teaches you that your true intention, your true purpose is to take life as it comes. There's no changes. And if you want to make the changes, you have to make the changes to yourself to see those changes in real life. So stand tall, forward fold, half lift, and a vinyasa. And I want to say one of the main things that, you might want to make changes of in life, you're just not sure of how to get there. So you continually tell yourself, I'm going to do it this time, or this time I'm going to do it. Well, just do it. Just go ahead and do it. You got nothing to lose by just trying it or just doing it. So we're back in downward dog. We're going to lift our right leg to the sky, and I'm going to lift it underneath. The other side, fallen star. My left arm is toward the sky, and my right hand is planted. And I'm going to hold it here for a moment, and then I'm going to tuck it back under, lift it to the sky. I'm going to step it through, and I'm going to do a crescent lunge. So my right leg is bent. My left leg is straight behind me, but my heel is lifted, and I'm going to raise my hands overhead. Gaze follows. And I'm just going to hold it for 1 second. And then I'm going to go to a pyramid pose. So I'm going to clasp my hands behind my back. I'm going to step that left foot forward, flat to the ground. And I'm going to lean over my right straight leg. So my legs are parallel. My feet are parallel to each other. And in this particular pose, you're stretching out the back of your right leg. And boy, does it feel good. And then I'm going to come down, and we're going to go to a side plank. Now, what I do might be a little crazy, but you're going to grab your right foot, lift it up to the sky. And again, if you fall out in yoga, just get back in. Yoga is chaos, just like life, or can be. And then you're going to hold it up, and it's a side plank. And I'm just going to hold it here for a moment. Then I'm going to step my foot back and do a vinyasa. And we're going to do those poses on the other side. Whew. So I'm going to lift my left leg up. I'm going to bend my leg. And then I'm going to stick it through the other side. Fallen star. Right arm toward the sky. Left hand planted. And then I'm going to put my hand down. And then I'm going to lift my left leg up. Step it through. Crescent lunge. Again, your left knee is bent. And your hands are overhead, and your gaze follows. Now, for pyramid pose, step your right leg forward, clasp your hands behind your back, and lean over your left straight leg. And feel this in the back of your left leg. Now, the next pose, you're going to stick your right hand down, grab the top of your left leg, and do the plank pose, or whatever plank works in your body. And then to a vinyasa. Whew. Not bad for a Monday. Whew. So now we're back to downward dog. So we're going to start a flow again, starting with the chair pose. So I'm going to step to the center of my mat, half lift, forward fold, chair pose. Now in this chair pose, instead of just holding it, I'm going to put my hands together at heart center and twist to the right. Gaze follows. As much as you twist is going to be how good of a twist you get in your lower back. And then back towards center, keep your seat low, and then twist to the left. Gaze follows. And then stand tall, forward fold, half lift, and then vinyasa. And then we're back to downward dog. So I'm going to do a different flow this time, FYI. So I'm going to lift my right leg high. I'm going to bend my leg back so I can feel the hip stretch. But if you only want to go that far, go ahead. But I'm going to do a Bhamasana where I go behind, put my right leg behind, and then lift my right arm overhead, and then feel the stretch, and then I'm going to step my foot through. And then I'm going to lift my left arm overhead with my right arm behind. Gaze follows behind your right shoulder. And you can just feel this beautiful twist. And then I'm going to come back to center, do a lunge on the left side. Your left leg is bent, and you're going toward that side. I'm going to walk toward the front. Dragonfly twist. Your left hand is planted, and your right arm is toward the sky. Gaze follows. And then a seated split. So your right leg is going to be straight. Your left leg is going to be bent underneath. And this flow is going to be a little bit longer than the last one. So just stay alert. So then it's gate pose. So I'm going to put my right leg out in front. My left leg is going to be bent. And I'm going to have my arm overhead like a swim stroke. And it feels so good on my right side. And then I'm going to go back toward the front. And then I'm going to do a vinyasa with my right leg in the sky. And then I'm going to do those same poses on the other side. So if you remember, we lift our right leg up and then Bhamasana. And then stick your left hand overhead. And then step it through. Revolve, reverse, crescent lunge. And then your right arm is overhead. Left arm behind, gazing over your left shoulder. And then we're going to do a lunge to the right side. Right knee is bent. And then dragonfly twist. Right palm is planted, left hand toward the sky, gaze follows. And then we're going to do a seated split. And then whatever pose you want to stay in that your body is craving more, feel free. And then gate pose where your right leg is bent, your left arm is overhead, and your left leg is straight. And you can just feel the stretch in your side body. Now vinyasa with your left leg in the sky. And then back to downward dog. Woo! So that was intense so far. So now we're going to start over and do one last flow. So step toward the center of your mat or toward the back or wherever. Half lift, forward fold, chair pose, twist to the right, gaze follows. Stay low in your chair, twist to the left, gaze follows. Stand tall, mini back bend, forward fold, half lift, and then vinyasa. And then we're going to start this pose with our right leg high, stepping it through, and we're going to do crane pose. So we're going to lift our left leg to the sky and lift our arms overhead. And then we're going to take a step back and do a prayer twist to the right. So our right leg is bent, our left is lunged back. And then I'm going to do a sky archer. So I'm going to lift my left hand or my right hand overhead. My left arm grabs it. And then reverse triangle. So I'm going to lift my left arm overhead. And my right arm's going to go to the sky. It's going to be right down next to my right leg. You can feel the twist in your lower back. And just hold this pose for a moment. See how amazing it feels. And sometimes if you can't do this pose completely, you need to shorten your stance. Then we're going to go to a forward fold. And then half lift. And then stand tall in a vinyasa. All right, so all those poses on the other side. I'm trying to remember how I started this. So I'm going to lift my right leg up and I'm going to step it through. Not sure how I started it, so I guess I'm going to do a different flow on this other side. But if you remember, feel free to go through. I'm going to do a warrior one, and then I'm going to do a triangle pose, and then I'm going to do, it's kind of coming back to me, a prayer twist on the left side. Gaze follows. And then sky archer, where you grab your left wrist overhead. Reverse triangle, where your right hand touches the ground, your left hand goes overhead. And then forward fold, half lift, and then vinyasa. All right. So if you want to go to child's pose or sit on your knees just to catch your breath or bring your focus back to your breath, to know that your breath has been here this whole time for you, and it's just so quick and easy to revert back to it in stressful times, stressful situations, chaos, anything that is going on in life. And just remember that with true intention, that no matter what is going on, you can always revert back to it, and you can always come back to your practice here on the mat. So yoga is, of course, always a breathing practice first. So just remember that. So for these next moves, poses, there are going to be a few strength training poses. So just be prepared for that. We'll do some standing poses. So first of all, we're going to stand at the top of the mat. I'm going to stand at the back so you guys can see me. So this is going to be a half bound lotus pose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my right leg up. I'm going to tuck it inside my left thigh. And if you can reach your left arm behind to grab your right foot, feel free. I cannot completely reach. I just tuck my hand behind. And from this pose, I'm going to lift my hand overhead and forward fold completely. And now what this does is this is stretching out your leg and your thigh and all that hip stuff in there. And if you want to, you can put both legs toward it, because I want you to have like a micro bend in your left leg, but you're going to be gazing up toward your waist to feel the full effects. So many times you can go into this pose and not do the full effect, but obviously do what your body is calling. But this pose is so amazing if you sit all day. I cannot tell you how incredible and juicy and great it feels. So while you're holding it, just remember it is intentional. It's an intentional pose, and it's going to have purpose in your life. Whew. And then half lift, and then stick your leg out, and then put it down. Now I'm just going to do a forward fold real quick to bring the blood back to my right leg, because we don't want to jump into the next balance pose without completely balancing ourselves out. So you're going to do the other side. So we're going to lift our left leg and tuck it in to our right, and twist our arm behind, right hand overhead, and then the same pose. And we're going to hold this half bound lotus on the left side in this pose. And remember, micro bend in your right leg. Gaze follows at your waist. And when you're really in these poses, you're not really thinking about what XYZ said, because it's irrelevant at this point. What's truly relevant is how you feel in this moment, because self-care is very important. And when you avert your attention and focus on so many other things, your mind can really go adrift of what is really purposeful in life. And what really matters isn't that chaos or that chaotic thing. So I'm going to reach my hands overhead, forward fold, and just sit here for a moment. Sit here in your breath. Sit here focused on what is truly meaningful. I'm going to go into a lunge from this position. Just focus on regaining the blood back in your legs and focusing on that. We're going to go into an inversion pose. So whatever inversion is calling to your body, if a tripod is calling to your body, if a crow pose is, or a headstand or a handstand, feel free to do what your body is calling. Do not jump to something that your body is not intentional of doing. So for a crow pose or tripod, you're going to start with your hands a little bit wider than shoulder distance. It's obviously preference based on your center of balance. And then you're going to put your head down and then adjust your hands and then lift yourself overhead. And then be intentional with letting yourself down. But if you can hold yourself in tripod, in crow, or if you can only do it once or twice or for a few seconds, get back in and try it again, because life is truly about trying it again and again and again, even when you fail. Say you try something, it doesn't work out. There's so many opportunities out there in life to not give up on yourself. So that's what yoga tells you. And yoga tells you that you're not perfect and nobody else is perfect. So don't expect perfection from whatever you do in life. So I'm going to go back to a standing pose from here and do a half lift, forward fold, and I'm going to step my right leg out, and I'm going to bend my right arm on the side with my left arm overhead. You can feel the side stretch on your left side body, and I'm going to go and try to do a birds of paradise pose in this position. So we're going to tuck our right arm underneath to clasp our left hand behind. You can grab a towel if it doesn't work. You step your left leg up. And, some days are not the right days to do it. It just depends on what part you're at and how your body is feeling that day. But basically what you do is you lift your left leg up, and it's a birds of paradise pose. My body is not really feeling it. I think it's my shoulder, to be honest. But I'm going to try again, because every time you try and you fall out is another chance to get in and try again. So it's like that. And each side of your body is going to feel different. So however long you can do that for, feel free to do it for. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So on the right side of your mat, you're going to bend your left leg, put your left arm down, right arm overhead, feel the side stretch on your right body, and then tuck your left hand underneath. And then step your right leg through, and then lift your left leg overhead. And this is a birds of paradise. See how long you can hold it. Challenge yourself, but don't kill yourself trying to do it. Because it could be something you could work toward if you're not really there yet. So after you get that done, and feel free to keep trying multiple times, because in life we don't just get one chance at something. We get multiple times to try again and again if we don't find our niche in life, our purpose, or our true calling. But sometimes we forget in life that we are all connected by community, and we should all work to help one another. It's not about our differences, because we're all unique in some way or another, but it's all purposeful for how we are. So in this next pose, I'm going to do a bear pose. So I'm going to put my hands firmly on the ground, and I'm going to lift my knees up, and I'm going to curl my toes, and it's going to be like this. And this is going to build our upper shoulder strength. And I'm just going to hold this here for a few moments. Focus on your breathing. If you fall out, get back in. While you're in this pose, just think of how much stronger you were than when you first started doing this, and how much growth that you made. It's micro growth throughout time that you can see on yourself. If you just remember, yoga is always here for you. You can always revert back to it. Now release and go back down. So for the next pose, I'm going to go down on our back. I'm going to do it from the side so you guys can see. And we're just going to go and lean back. And it's some ab work right here. And then twist to the left, twist to the right. I always like these because eventually my lower back ends up cracking. Might not do it for you, but sometimes it's intentional. And then hold the pose back up. And then go back to your boat pose and hold it here. You're building ab strength in this pose. And you're also focused on your breathing. While you're focused on your breathing, focus on breathing in and out, and focus on bringing it back to yourself. Focus on bringing back breath to wherever you are feeling pain or tension. All right, and then we are going to lean back. I have a clip in, so I can't completely lean back, and then we're going to do it 2 more times. So, boat pose. And I'm going to do it this way just because the wall's right there. Boat pose, and then canoe pose. Boat, canoe, boat, canoe, boat, canoe, boat. And just keep doing it. And then eventually we're going to come back and we're going to sit in a butterfly pose. So your feet are open up like books in front of you. And I'm actually going to do fire logs. So I'm going to bend my left leg in with my right leg over top of my tucked in left leg. And then I'm going to reach my hands overhead and lean forward. Now, when you first go into this pose, you're probably wondering, well, I can't even go that far forward. Well, if you wait over time, gravity will be intentional and your muscles will slow down and you will be able to get into this stretch. Now, this stretch is amazing for hips. So I promise you it's worth it. So just give yourself patience to ease into the pose and you'll get there. Patience and intention. What we did was a lot of strength training and moves. So your body does need time to chill out, and it doesn't necessarily do it all at once. It's like a slow process. Just like I said, those micro growth changes are in life, even though you can't see them, maybe somebody else can over time. But you've grown so much now since you have maybe last year, and maybe your intentions are more purposeful and you can see these results each month. But not setting a purpose or intention for things can lead to problems, perhaps. You are and you feel what you tell your mind and your body. So if you tell your mind and your body you're not going to be able to do it, you won't be able to do it. But if you tell your mind and your body that you can clearly do it and you're 100% capable, then you can. It's funny how it works, but it actually has been proven that mind over body matters. So I'm going to do the opposite. If you feel like you need to stay in the other pose, feel free to stay in the other pose. So I'm tucked my right leg in with my left leg on top. And I'm going to lean forward and just let gravity work on this side. Sometimes I get stressed out and I think to myself, what am I doing? I want to get to this point in my life, but I feel like I'm stuck here. But I just realized if I keep doing the same things and I pray about it and I set my intentions to be pure for what it is, slowly over time I'll get there. Like this happens with any like hobby that I start or some things. Sometimes I'm too much of a perfectionist and I expect perfection immediately, but perfection doesn't happen immediately. Perfection is intentional, pure, and takes time. Plus, there is no perfection in life. So that's my greatest flaw is thinking that I can get perfection out of whatever I do. And I guess it's a pro and a con because it makes me overzealous, but it also makes me feel like, what have I done for myself or where am I? And I sometimes question that, but then I realize I'm exactly where I need to be because God has placed me here for this purpose, for this reason, right at this very moment. And a lot of people get caught up on the words like I do sometimes, but when you clearly look from the outside in, you realize, maybe life wasn't supposed to be like so perfectly planned, and it was supposed to be chaos. In chaos, there is beauty. So if you sit back up and slowly stretch your other leg out, and then lean back. And then lean back all the way to your back. And we're going to do a hip twist. We're going to tilt our legs all the way to the left with our head toward the right, our gaze toward the right. And you're going to feel this twist in your hips and your stomach area. This twist is freaking amazing, might I say. The reason it's so amazing is that you're getting the reverse twist from your upper back. So you're getting your hips and your upper back stretched out. And if you hold it long enough, you will decrease the blood flow to your lower left leg, or your leg that's on the bottom on that side. So that way when you come back through, you get all fresh blood on that side. I know, pretty crazy how many different ways this pose works. And I feel like some of us we sit all day and sometimes we don't realize how doing these poses and reversing our blood flow can make a difference with our mind. Like just getting up and moving. Now I'm going to go back to the center and I'm going to switch sides and do it on the right. I'm going to move my... And then I'm going to sit up. If you still want to hold that pose, feel free to hold the pose. But thank you for joining me, my yoga. May all beings be free, peaceful, and free of suffering. Namaste. And just be kind to yourself and remember that everybody goes through chaos in their life. Chaos is life for me, if you really want to ask, but there's no perfection. So if you want to do something, you want to get somewhere, don't be critical of yourself. Just go for it, try it, and you never know what'll happen. You can always step out and try something new. So I hope you guys have a great Monday and a great rest of the week. I'm going to try to get on here again sometime this week. So feel free. Again, if you're on my Instagram or YouTube, I have a Facebook creator page, or vice versa. If you're on my YouTube, I have an Instagram page, and I have a YouTube page if you're on my Instagram. Thanks again. Have a great day.